The frightened one, the sky was dark. Smoke rose from the broken ship. Pieces of metal were scattered across the rocky land. In the middle of the wreck, a small alien girl was hiding under a piece of metal. Her name was Luma. Luma was not like a human. She was short, thin, with purple skin and large black eyes. Her hair was soft and silver, and her fingers were long and gentle. She was just a child, scared and alone. Her parents were gone. Her ship had crashed a few days ago, and no one from her species had come to find her. She remembered what the elders always said. If you ever see a human, run, hide. Humans are monsters. They will eat you. So Luma did exactly that. She had seen the humans arrive. Big ships with strange lights, loud sounds. Tall figures in strange suits. They looked dangerous. One of them had pointed something at a broken wall, and the wall exploded. Luma had screamed silently and crawled deeper into the wreckage. She was hungry now. Her small body was weak. Her stomach hurt, and her throat was dry. She hadn't eaten anything in 2 days. Then something strange happened, one afternoon. As the sun was going down, Luma heard soft footsteps near her hiding place. She froze, her heart beat fast. She held her breath. A human voice spoke, gentle and calm. I don't know if you can hear me, but I think you're still alive. Luma peeked through a crack in the metal. She saw a human man. He was tall, wearing a light brown jacket over a black suit. His face was soft, with kind eyes and a small smile. He didn't have a weapon. He didn't shout. He didn't try to grab anything. Instead, he bent down and placed a small box on the ground. Inside the box there was food. A small fruit, some water, and a warm pack of protein bars. He stood up again, looked around, and said, I'll leave. This here, if you're scared, that's okay. I'll be back tomorrow. Then he walked away. Luma didn't move for a long time. She stared at the box. Was it a trick? A trap? Her stomach growled. She waited until the night was dark. She crawled out slowly and sniffed the food. It smelled sweet. Carefully, she took a bite of the fruit. Nothing bad happened. She drank the water, then took the protein bar back into her hiding place. For the first time in 2 days, she felt a little stronger. The next day, the human came back. This time, he brought another box. He didn't try to come close. He just sat near a rock and started fixing a small broken drone. My name's Tom, he said aloud, though he didn't know if she was listening. I work in rescue and salvage. I'm not a soldier. Just a tech guy. He talked while he worked. I had a little sister once. She used to love stars. Always asked me if there were aliens out there. I guess now I know. Luma listened from her hiding place. She was still afraid, but something inside her was changing. This human didn't act like a monster. He didn't yell. He didn't hunt. He didn't look angry. Every day, Tom came back. Every day, he left food and water. He talked while he worked. He never came too close. On the 5th day, a storm rolled over the wreckage. The wind was strong, and rain hit the ground hard. Luma tried to stay in her hiding place, but the metal above her began to shake. Then, suddenly, it collapsed. She screamed. A heavy beam trapped her leg. Pain shot through her body. She cried out in fear and pain. Tom heard the scream. He ran toward the wreck. Hey, are you okay? I'm coming. Luma tried to crawl, but the metal was too heavy. She was shaking. She saw the human coming closer, fast. She wanted to run. She wanted to hide, but she couldn't move. Tom reached her. He looked shocked but not angry. Hold on, he said. You're hurt. With strong arms, he lifted the beam and pulled her free. Her leg was bleeding and she was cold. Tom didn't waste time. He wrapped a cloth around her leg and carried her to a nearby tent. He placed her gently on a soft mat. His hands were careful. His face showed worry, not hate. Luma looked at him. She was scared, but not like before. Something was different now. "You'll be okay," Tom said softly. "I promise." Then he gave her warm soup and covered her with a blanket. Luma looked up at him with wide eyes. For the first time, she whispered a word. "Why?" Tom smiled gently. "Because that's what people should do. Help someone who's hurting." Luma didn't understand everything. But deep inside, she felt something new, a small light of trust. She closed her eyes and slept peacefully for the first time since the crash. The wall between them, the night was calm. Inside the small tent, the alien girl slept peacefully. Her leg was still hurt, but it was bandaged and warm. Beside her, a small heater hummed softly. The human, Tom, sat just outside, watching the stars. He didn't know her name yet. She hadn't told him anything, except one word. Why? That word stayed in his mind. Tom wasn't a hero. He didn't fight wars. He didn't lead missions. He fixed machines and searched for survivors. When he first came to this crash site, he expected broken tech and empty rooms. He didn't expect to find a scared alien child. But now she was here, real, alive and full of fear. In the morning, Luma woke up slowly. Her eyes blinked in the soft light. She saw the blanket on her. She saw the food beside her. And when she turned her head, she saw Tom, sitting a few feet away, eating something and checking his tools. He noticed her movement and smiled. "Hey, you're awake." Luma sat up a little, careful with her leg. She didn't speak. Tom didn't push her. He just nodded. "I brought more food and clean water. You can rest here as long as you want." Luma stared at him. Then, slowly, she picked up the fruit and took a small bite. Tom smiled again and turned back to his tools. As the days passed, Luma started to heal. She didn't speak much, but she watched everything. Tom worked nearby, always talking while fixing broken parts. He told stories about Earth, about his little sister, about the stars. He didn't expect her to answer. He just wanted her to know he wasn't dangerous. One afternoon, Tom was cleaning an old data tablet. He showed it to her. "This is a map of Earth," he said, tapping the screen. "That blue part? That's the ocean. I used to swim there." Luma looked at the screen. Her eyes followed the shapes. She had never seen water like that. Tom noticed her interest. "You like maps?" he asked. Luma hesitated, then gave a small nod. Tom smiled again. "I'll show you more tomorrow." That night, Luma didn't sleep in the corner. She moved her blanket a little closer to the center of the tent. Tom didn't say anything. But inside he felt something warm, a sign of trust. The next day, it rained again. The wind shook the tent. Luma sat quietly, holding a warm cup in her hands. She stared at the steam rising from it. Then she asked softly, "What happened to your sister?" Tom looked at her, surprised. It was the first time she had spoken a full sentence. He took a deep breath. "She died," he said gently. "A few years ago. She got sick. We couldn't save her." Luma's face lowered. "I'm sorry." Tom shook his head. "It's okay. She would have liked you." "She always wanted to meet an alien." Luma looked up. "She wasn't afraid?" "No," Tom said. "She believed that aliens could be our friends. I think she was right." Luma said nothing for a moment. Then she whispered, "My people said, humans eat us." Tom laughed softly, but it wasn't mean. "I've heard that aliens eat us too." She blinked. "Is it true?" He shook his head. "No, not anymore. A long time ago, maybe some humans were cruel, but not all of us, and not me." Luma thought about that. She didn't know if it was true, but she was starting to believe him. 2 more days passed. Luma began walking with a limp. Tom helped her stretch her leg. He even made a small crutch from broken parts. One afternoon, he brought her outside for the first time. The air was fresh, the sun soft. She looked around at the broken ship. It was no longer her hiding place. It was just a ruin. Tom sat on a rock and pointed to the sky. "Those stars," he said. "Do they look the same from your planet?" Luma nodded. "Some of them. Do you miss it?" He asked. She was quiet, then said, "I miss my mother." Tom looked down. "I'm sorry." "She was kind," Luma whispered. "She told me to be strong." "You are," Tom said. "You're still here." Luma looked at him for a long moment. Then she said, "My name is Luma." Tom smiled wide. "Luma, that's a beautiful name." She smiled too, just a little. That evening, a new problem came. A voice called from Tom's device. It was the mission commander. "Tom, report. The site is being cleared in 48 hours. Get ready to leave." Tom frowned. He looked at Luma, who was drawing in the dirt with a stick. He turned on the device. "What about survivors? We've scanned the site. No life signs detected. All alien traces are non-essential. We'll move out soon." Tom's heart sank. "Sir, there's something. Unless it's tech or human, it stays." "That's an order." The call ended. Tom sat in silence. Luma looked at him. "What's wrong?" He looked at her. "They want to leave soon. They don't know you're here." She looked worried. "They'll leave me?" Tom shook his head slowly. "Not if I can help it." He looked up at the stars. His mind was spinning. He had a choice to make: follow orders, or protect the small alien girl who now trusted him. Luma touched his hand. "You won't let them take me, will you?" Tom took her hand gently. "No, Luma, I promise. I'm going to get you out of here." Heartbeats in the dark. Tom couldn't sleep that night. He sat outside the tent, staring at the stars. The cool wind touched his face, but his thoughts were burning. He had promised Luma he would protect her, but he didn't know how. The human team would return in 2 days. Once the site was cleared, they would fly back to the main station. And they had made it clear: anything non-human was not allowed. Luma would be left behind, or worse, taken for study. Tom looked over his shoulder. Inside the tent, Luma was sleeping. Her small body was curled up under a blanket. Her silver hair glowed faintly in the soft light. She looked peaceful, but he knew the fear still lived deep inside her. He couldn't break his promise. He wouldn't. The next morning, Tom started working early. He cleaned out an old storage pod. It was just big enough for one small person. He added padding to the inside and placed a hidden oxygen filter. Luma watched him with curious eyes. "What are you doing?" she asked. Tom smiled. "Fixing something." She tilted her head. "For me?" He paused. "Yes, for your safety." Luma didn't ask more questions. She trusted him now, fully. Later that day, one of the other crew members arrived at the Poti site. Her name was Elena, a security officer. She was tall, serious, and sharp-eyed. Tom didn't like lying to her, but he had no choice. "You're still working here alone?" she asked, looking around. "Yeah," Tom replied casually. "Cleaning up the last section." She raised an eyebrow. "Any strange readings?" "Nope, just wreckage and dust." She didn't look convinced. Her eyes scanned the area. For a moment, Tom thought she heard something from the tent, but then she nodded. "We're pulling out tomorrow. Don't be late." When she left, Tom let out a deep breath. That was close. He went back to the tent and found Luma sitting with her arms around her knees. "Who was she?" she asked softly. "A friend," Tom replied. "But not someone who'd understand." Luma looked down. "She would take me?" Tom nodded slowly. "They think you're a threat, or a mystery, or both." Luma didn't cry, but her eyes were wet. Tom knelt beside her. "That's why we have to be careful. I have a plan." That night, Tom showed Luma the pod. It looked like a box with a small door. Inside there was soft fabric, water packs, and a breathing mask. "You'll hide in here during the flight," Tom explained. "No one will know." Luma touched the edge of the pod. "Will it hurt?" Tom shook his head. It'll be tight, but safe. I'll be right there with you. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "You're risking everything for me." Tom smiled. "You're worth it." The next day arrived too fast. The sky was filled with the sound of engines. The large transport ship landed near the crash site. Dust flew into the air. Tom placed Luma in the pod gently. "Stay quiet," he whispered. "No sound, no movement." Luma nodded, her eyes wide with fear. Tom closed the pod and locked it with a special code. Then he covered it with crates and tools, making it look like regular salvage. He wiped sweat from his forehead and tried to act normal. Elena and the commander arrived with a team. "All set?" The commander asked. Tom nodded. "Just loading." The last batch. The commander looked around. "Strange. I thought we detected movement here a few days ago." Tom shrugged. "Maybe rats," the commander laughed. "Alien rats?" Elena didn't laugh. Her eyes looked at the crates. Tom could feel his heart beating faster. "Please don't look. Please don't open it." Elena stepped closer to the pile. Tom blocked her path. "Need help with something?" She looked at him. Her eyes narrowed. "You're acting different." "I'm just tired," Tom replied quickly. She stared at him for a long second. Then finally she turned away. "All right, let's move out." The crates, including the pod, were loaded onto the ship. Tom followed, trying not to show how scared he really was. Inside the ship, the engines hummed. The metal walls vibrated gently. As the ship lifted off, Tom sat close to the storage area. He kept his hand on the pod, silently telling Luma, "You're not alone." The flight was long, but smooth. When they landed at the space station, the crew started unloading. Tom quickly moved the pod to a small maintenance bay. He locked the door behind him and opened the pod. Luma blinked up at him, her face pale but safe. "We made it," Tom whispered. She smiled weakly. "I was brave, like my mother said." Tom nodded. "You were more than brave." Later that night, Tom made a private call to a contact he trusted, a woman named Dr. Maya Venn, who worked in alien relations and refugee care. "I have someone you need to meet," Tom said. "She's not a threat. She's just a child. Her name is Luma." Dr. Venn listened carefully. Then she said, "Bring her to me. We'll protect her." Tom smiled. He turned to Luma. "We're going to a place where no one will hurt you. A safe place." Luma looked up. "Will you come with me?" Tom knelt beside her. "I'll visit, as much as I can." Luma reached out and took his hand. "You didn't eat me," she said with a small laugh. Tom laughed too. "Told you, not all humans are monsters." A choice to make. The space station was large, cold, and full of bright lights. Luma had never seen anything like it. The walls were shiny. The air smelled like metal. Humans walked everywhere, wearing uniforms and carrying tablets. Luma stayed close to Tom, holding his hand tightly. Her silver eyes moved quickly, watching every corner. She felt small, like a lost star in a giant sky. Tom brought her through a quiet hallway to a secured room. Inside was a woman with short black hair and kind eyes. She stood up and smiled. "You must be Luma," she said gently. Luma stayed behind Tom. "This is Dr. Maya Venn," Tom said. "She helps alien children who have lost their homes." Dr. Venn crouched down. "It's okay, little one. You're safe here." Luma looked at Tom. He nodded. Slowly, she stepped forward. Dr. Venn led them to a private area, far from the busy parts of the station. It had soft lights, clean beds, and even a small garden with glowing flowers. It didn't feel like a prison. It felt like peace. Luma sat on the bed, holding a cup of warm juice. Her eyes were calm now. "She stay here?" Tom asked. Dr. Venn nodded. "Yes, no one will harm her." But Tom raised an eyebrow. "But what? She's undocumented. If command finds out, they'll ask questions. Some may not believe." She's harmless. Tom's voice became firm. She's just a child. I know, Dr. Venn said softly, but not everyone sees that. Tom looked at Luma, who was playing with a soft toy. He sighed. Then we keep her hidden until the right time, Dr. Venn agreed. I'll make sure she's safe. But you need to be careful. Back in his quarters, Tom stared at the message blinking on his screen. Review notice. Unusual activity during salvage operation. Meet with station commander. He knew what it meant. Elena must have reported something. Or maybe someone saw the pod. He rubbed his face. They're watching me now. But he didn't regret it. The next day, Tom met with the station commander, a strict man named Colonel Briggs. Briggs didn't smile. Tom, we have some questions. Tom sat straight. Yes. Sir, we reviewed your salvage logs. There are gaps. Missing hours. Equipment moved without report. Care to explain? Tom stayed calm. I was dealing with damage from the storm. I had to move fast. Briggs leaned forward. Did you find anything unusual? Tom met his eyes. Just broken tech and old wires. Briggs studied him. Security officer Elena thinks you're hiding something. Tom didn't blink. She's wrong. The room was silent for a long moment. Then Briggs nodded slowly. You're lucky, Tom. You've got a clean record. I'm letting this go. For now. Tom stood up. Thank you, sir, but he knew it wasn't over. Eyes were on him. One mistake, and they'd find Luma. Meanwhile, Luma was adjusting to the new place. She began speaking more with Dr. Venn. She liked the glowing flowers and the quiet room. She painted stars on the walls with soft colors. But at night, she still had bad dreams, fire, explosions, the sound of screaming. Sometimes she woke up crying. Dr. Venn sat with her, holding her small hand. It's okay, Luma. You're not alone. I miss my mother, Luma whispered. I know, Venn said. But you're strong, and you're safe now. Tom visited whenever he could. He brought her drawings, small gadgets, and told her stories about Earth. One evening, he gave her a necklace, a small metal star hanging from a chain. It belonged to my sister, he said. She would have wanted you to have it. Luma took it carefully. Thank you. Then she hugged him, tight and silent. Tom hugged her back, holding in his tears. But trouble was still close. Elena didn't stop asking questions. She checked records, walked through the salvage bay, and spoke to other crew members. She was smart. Too smart. One day, she followed Tom after his shift. She saw him entering a restricted area. She reported it. The next day, 2 officers came to Dr. Venn's office. Open the room, one said. We have reason to believe unauthorized alien life is inside. Dr. Venn's heart raced. She pressed the hidden emergency button under her desk. It sent a silent signal to Tom. Then she spoke calmly. There's no one here but medical files. The officers stepped in. Luma was gone. The small bed was empty. The garden was silent. She had already been moved. Just minutes earlier, to another hidden room through the back tunnels. Tom arrived moments later. Dr. Venn met him in the hallway. They came, she said. But we were faster. Tom nodded. It's getting worse. I have to make a choice. That night, Tom called Dr. Venn for a final talk. They won't stop, he said. Sooner or later, they'll find her. Dr. Venn asked quietly, What? Are you planning? Tom looked out the window, where the stars floated in darkness. I'm taking her away, he said. To a place where no one will find her. Venn stared at him. That's dangerous. I know. She trusts you. That's why I have to do it. He returned to Luma that night. She was waiting in the secret room, playing with her necklace. You're leaving? She asked. We both are, Tom said. Tomorrow night. She didn't speak. Tom knelt beside her. It'll be hard. But I'll protect you, always. Luma looked into his eyes. Even if it means running forever? He nodded. Even then, She took his hand. Then I'll run with you. The unexpected turn. The space station was quiet at night. Most of the lights were dim, and only a few guards were on patrol. It was the perfect time to leave, but it had to be done carefully. If even one officer saw them, everything would be over. Tom stood beside Luma in the shadows of the back hallway. She was wearing a small hooded cloak to hide her face. Her little fingers held tightly onto Tom's hand. She didn't speak, but her eyes showed she understood the risk. Are you ready? Tom whispered. Luma nodded slowly. Tom took a deep breath. Let's go. They moved quickly through the maintenance tunnels. These paths weren't on the public maps, but Tom had worked on them before. He knew the way. Left at the power room, right at the broken vent, then down through the old ladder. Shaft. At the bottom was an unused loading dock. One small ship was parked there, a service shuttle that Tom had quietly repaired over the last 2 days. It was ready for launch. He opened the hatch and helped Luma climb in. Her eyes were wide as she looked around. It's small, she said softly. But it's fast, Tom replied with a smile. And safe. He jumped into the pilot's seat and started the engine. The screens lit up. The ship hummed quietly, like a sleeping animal waking up. Then a red light blinked. Unauthorized access. Alert triggered. Tom's heart dropped. They know, he said. Hold on. In the control room of the station, alarms started to beep. Shuttle Bay 4. Someone's taking the ship, a guard shouted. Elena, who had been monitoring late-night logs, jumped to her feet. It's him, she said. Tom! She grabbed her weapon and ran toward the lower docks. Inside the shuttle, Tom pushed the controls hard. The ship lifted slowly, then shot forward. The dock doors began to open, but not fully. They were trying to trap him inside. Come on, he muttered, pressing more buttons. Luma held onto the seat. She didn't cry. She trusted him. The doors opened just enough. With a roar, the shuttle burst through the gap. Metal scraped the side, but they made it. Stars opened in front of them, black space, endless and free. We did it. Tom shouted. But then the radio crackled. Tom, this is Elena. Stop the ship and return. You're breaking every rule. He grabbed the communicator. Elena, listen to me. She's not a threat. She's a child. You stole government property. You're helping an alien escape. You'll be branded a traitor. She needed help, he said. And none of you were going to give it. There was silence for a moment. Then Elena's voice softened. Tom, don't come back. He paused. What? I saw her. I saw the little alien girl hiding in that room. And I saw your eyes. You weren't lying. Tom didn't know what to say, but if you return now, they'll take her. And you. I can't stop that, so go. I'll cover your exit. Just don't come back. The call ended. Tom looked at Luma. She was staring at him with wide eyes. What did she say? Luma asked. She gave us a chance, Tom said. And that's all we need. The shuttle flew into deep space. They passed a belt of silent asteroids, then entered a hidden path that led toward a neutral zone, a place where humans and aliens lived together without war or rules. It was far, quiet, and unknown. Tom landed the shuttle on a green planet full of forests and lakes. There were a few peaceful towns, run by people from many worlds. They stepped out together. The air was warm. The wind carried the smell of flowers. Birds flew above. Luma took a deep breath. It's beautiful, Tom smiled. Welcome to your new home. Weeks passed. Tom found work-fixing machines in the village. Luma began going to a small learning center with other children. Some human, some alien, just like her, she learned. Quickly, she smiled more. She painted stars and animals and made friends with a little boy who had green skin and 3 arms. At night, she sat with Tom under the glowing trees. Do you miss Earth? She asked one evening. Tom looked up at the stars. Sometimes. But I don't regret coming here. She leaned her head on his shoulder. Me neither. He gave her a small notebook. What's this? She asked. A story, he said. Your story, you should write it. She opened the first page. It was blank. She smiled. I'll start tomorrow. 1 year later, a message came from Dr. Venn. It was short. We're safe. Elena kept her word. Luma is not on any record. You did the right thing. Tom smiled as he read it. Then he called Luma from the garden. She read the message and laughed. I told you she wasn't so bad, Tom chuckled. Maybe not. Luma looked at the sky. Do you think there are more like me out there? Lost, scared. Yes, Tom said. I do. She looked into his eyes. Then maybe we can help them too. He raised an eyebrow. We? She nodded. You helped me. Now it's my turn to help someone else. Tom stood up, proud. Then let's do it. Together. Final scene. A few years later, a small spaceship flies through quiet space. On its side, painted in soft colors, are the words, Hope Star, Refuge for the Lost. Inside, a young alien girl with silver hair sits at the control panel. Next to her is a man with a kind face and a quiet smile. They are searching the stars, not for war, not for treasure, but for those who are afraid, just like Luma once was, and they will offer them what Luma found: safety, kindness, a second chance. The end.